Okay, 2 questions, I'm out.
Well, what did you find in going over the video for UCLA? Did that change anything? Just
But no, I mean, hey, listen, it's one of those, conflicting deals. We made progress. We did make progress. We had a feeling that we were fighting for and we were playing better, and then, just kind of we didn't take care of business down the stretch, and it's obviously disheartening. I think a win, helps your psyche a little bit, and maybe you can get some positive momentum going, but we weren't able to get it done. I mean, there's no real excuses, and there's lots of little things we can look at down the stretch, but I mean, come on, you can't have a 13-point lead with 10 minutes to go, and then, I mean, maybe you might lose it, but it better be because they hit a bunch of threes, a bunch of crazy stuff happens. It better not be because you don't score, and we just, couldn't score. So, I was, pretty frustrated with myself that, I just wasn't able to give maybe a little more certainty on how we wanted to attack their pressure, and, the frustrating thing, I think we were in the bonus at the 14-minute mark. I mean, at least just, hey, run into somebody, fall down, get a couple free throws, but just none of it came together, and it kind of unraveled in front of us. And when you're a team with a little bit of a fractured psyche, the belief probably isn't where you'd want it to be, and that's what we got to fight for. We got to fight to get there, and what an awesome challenge.
what did you think specifically against their defense? And it sounds like you'll have a more extreme version of what Samford does. Do you think that it exposed anything just with the offensive rhythm?
They took the ball from us like 15 times. I mean, these turnovers weren't like crazy passes. They just literally came and took the ball out of our hands, like, and just, hey, and they're ball hawks. I'll give them credit, but we got to be tougher than that. I mean, we got to have a little more toughness. I mean, it's that's one of those things. You can say the scheme, the concepts, whatever. The dude's got to hold on to the ball. And that's their responsibility, and they're accountable for that. And we didn't do a great job of it.
You went about a 6-minute stretch there in that second half when the lead was going away, where you didn't make any sort of subs. Looking back on it, was there a choice for that?
Well, I don't think there was a lot of dead balls, for one. I mean, I think that probably played into it too, because I know Murph and I were talking. Hey, should we do this? Should we do that? And it's just only having that one timeout. I mean, obviously, if you're asking me in hindsight, I should have called it. That's easy in hindsight. But also, I could have called it, and we get to the last minute of the game, and we don't have a timeout, and you guys could be saying, well, you wasted all your time. You know what I mean? So, like, you just never know with that, what's going to sway it one way or the other. And, traditionally, I'm a guy who likes to have a timeout. And, yes, you guys know I usually like having a couple timeouts the last minute or two of a game. But, we lost those 2 timeouts when guys, were trying to save possessions. And I'm not faulting them for that. That's what they did, and that's what they did, and their instincts told them to do in that moment. We saved the possession, and we just didn't have any timeouts down the stretch to maybe, that we would have liked to have, or maybe I should have used that one, but I didn't.
You've regularly talked about how you give your players a lot of freedom. Is there such a thing as too much freedom, maybe, that they are able to freelance so much that it goes out of the system?
I mean, listen, it's not freelancing like you think. I mean, there's definitely concepts we play within, but there needs to be when we're doing it right, there's a randomness to it that maybe to the eye, but there's structure from within, and it's the same concepts. We've drilled for years, but we just got to keep hammering. We got to keep hammering, and part of it is just trusting that if you get the ball out of your hands and that something good's going to happen for someone else, or it's going to come back to you, and we just got to have a little more trust in the game moments of that, and we're working for it.
So how do you cultivate the kind of toughness that you feel may or may not be lacking with these guys right now?
I mean, I think you got to challenge guys. You got to teach them what winning plays are, and you got to hone in on those things, and then you try to hold them accountable for it. I mean, it's not really much more complicated than that. I didn't think our effort, for the most part, was lacking. I mean, I think in a lot of these games, the guys have played hard, like really hard, and just maybe just a little bit of our execution and making things a little bit easier for each other could be better, at both ends of the floor. So, I mean, I'm not like, questioning the toughness overall, but we just got to get a little bit better at, some of the, late game execution, and hey, you're looking at some of these games. like that game, I think we out-rebounded them by 10, which is, that's pretty good against UCLA. But there were timely rebounds down the stretch that, you're just like, that were just backbreakers. And those are the winning plays you got to fight for. If you win by 10 on the glass, but you give them 2 or 3 offensive rebounds down the stretch, it's almost like undoing all the positive you did. So we can get better in those areas.
When you say maybe they can help make it easier for each other, both ends, you mean in movement, or what kind of things?
Spacing, movement, fundamentals, getting the ball to your hands quicker, getting it to the next guy, creating little advantages, finding momentum within a possession and then trying to hold on to that advantage and, forcing the defense in tough spots. And, we've been good at it throughout the years. It's just not coming as easy with this group. So, we're honing in on it, in practice. I mean, obviously there's conversations, there's meetings, but now it's getting to the point where, we're going to keep pushing and squeezing. We're not running from our responsibilities, but we got to see it on a game night. We got to see it on a game night.
Is there anything you figured about changing fundamentally in the offense to make that flow better, or whatever?
I mean, right now you're in the thick of it, so nothing drastic. We need we need to find a way to come out and play good tomorrow, and it's going to be a heck of a challenge. I mean, this team's a one of one the way they play. There's no one else playing like it, so the advantage goes to them as far as that's going. So we've got to come out and we've got to handle their pressure, their chaos. They're good at it. There's substance to it. So it's going to be an incredible challenge, and they're coming in here to win the game tomorrow, and we got to have a full understanding of that.
How do you describe Samford's chaos?
I mean, listen, they press a lot. There's different presses. It's every possession. It's on made shots. It's on missed shots. They're good playing in scrambles. I'm sure, they think that, there's a cumulative effect to what they do. That you might get them a couple possessions, but over the course of the time, they could probably wear you down in your discipline. And because they play like it all the time. That's how they play every day. And so, you got to come out and you got to really, trust your toughness, trust your fundamentals, and you got to trust that, when you make a mistake, because you're going to make some, that you can bounce back. It's not the end of the world. There's going to be a lot of possessions. And then, you come down to the other end of the floor. Once you do beat their pressure, then, they change defenses in the half court. I mean, they have a variety of defenses they play, so you're not getting the same look at anything. And then offensively, they got a good plan. I mean, they got a multitude of things they do. They got good decision makers. I mean, they got a point guard who's been in college basketball a long time, and, he knows how to play. And he knows what the coach wants to do, and he's kind of a really talented run the team point guard who can make 30-foot 3-point shots. So I mean they present a lot of challenges.
This was a late add to the schedule. How did you get this game put in?
Well, I mean it's just one of those games. I mean they were persistent in asking, and I was persistent in not accepting, and then we needed a game. It kind of came down to the end, and we needed to kind of fill that last spot, and it was just kind of what worked, and we pulled the trigger on it. So you know what? It's exactly the challenge we need right now. There's a reason we scheduled it, and maybe I didn't know the reason at the time, but now I do, because this is the challenge this group needs.
I was wondering about that. If you felt, especially after what UCLA did, maybe it wouldn't be a good thing. Maybe you'd want an opponent that wouldn't do this kind of chaos, and you get things in line a little bit, and then face them. Or
well, I mean, Bruce, that's hindsight. Unfortunately, when I put the schedule, we got to submit it before, I can't pull back after the UCLA game and say, no, we don't want to. So but you know what? We're good for it. We'll own it. Bring it on. We're okay.
How much do you know T.J. McConnell?
Enough. I've met him a few times. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, he's going to be getting inducted here and bringing the team, and I guess it's kind of the same deal that when Ben was last year. I mean, just someone like him who was an undrafted guy who had to transfer and all that.
Well, I mean, he's an incredible example of toughness and will to be successful and will to win and figuring out, what you got to do to be successful at the highest level. And it's honestly, it's inspiring. And, our team needs a little T.J. McConnell right now, that they could use a little of that, of his heart, his toughness, his grit, his will to win. We could use some of that. So you know what? I mean, maybe things are all coming together for a reason, and hopefully, having him around just for those few hours, a little bit of it, rubs off on our guys, there's a conversation or two he can have. Because, that's a guy who's seen it and done it all. You talk about going to the NBA undrafted, and we played against him. When I was at Gonzaga, we played, against TJ here. I mean, he was tough as nails, undrafted, goes to Philadelphia, right? I think it was the Trust the Process Philly team, right? Like, he's the tanking. And this guy went and found a way. On a team that's trying to tank, he stood out. And I went to a game, a couple of years ago to watch Ben, and, I was blown away with how good of a player, TJ was on that stage. I mean, and it's awesome to watch. And for guys trying to make it, I mean, guys should pay attention to him. And, maybe their journey or the way they're going to make it's a little bit different, but there's going to be a lot of similarities with toughness, grit, a stick-to-itiveness, figuring it out, and not trying to be like other people, because he's a unique player. So it's going to be awesome to have him back. It'll be awesome to have Ben back, and I'm proud that the athletic department's able to honor him.
Other than what you've said, are there any goals you have these 2 home games before the break that you want to see?
Get better. We got to keep getting better. We got to keep getting better. We got to push. To be honest with you, we don't know right now if we're about to break through or if it's a ways off. But we got to keep going. We got to keep going. We got to keep fighting for it. And I just know this. I was at home Sunday, and I was working at my table, like I work, and my family's out doing things. I'm, working and digesting the UCLA game, getting ready for Samford. Met a couple guys on the staff come up and we met. And I was like, man, why do I feel good right now? Why do I have a joyful feeling? Like, I shouldn't be having a joyful feeling. Like, this is hard. And you know what it is? I love coaching. I love the challenge. I love figuring out hard things. So I can't just be there when the getting's good. And what drives me and motivates me is delivering for the community, for the university. That's like my internal delivering for the players. That's what drives me. So what I can't do, I can't let the disappointment of maybe a slower start than we all would have hoped for. I can't let that weigh me down because I feel guilty we haven't delivered. So like I have to take all the good from the motivation I get from wanting to deliver and our fans and all this stuff. And I can't let the negative stuff pull me down because I'm in it. And you know what? When I'm in it, I actually enjoy it. I do. Now, are there moments where it's tough? Heck yeah. I mean, yeah, there's no question there's those emotional moments where your ego gets involved and you're like, why is this so hard? And, maybe you start pointing fingers, but that's not who I am. I love coaching. I love the challenge of this. I love figuring out complex problems. And you know what? We're in it right now. So I'm going to keep approaching it like that, and I'm going to be optimistic that better days are coming. But we're fighting for those better days. We're just not assuming they're going to happen.
Along those same lines, when was the last time you were up against a challenge similar to this?
I don't know if I ever have been. Not here for sure, but I mean, we'd have to look through the annals, and I'm sure there are moments that have long been forgotten, where we had some tougher moments. But like, yeah, no, I haven't. So you know what? Part of my development as a coach and a leader is figuring this out. It's not running from it. It's not pointing fingers. It's owning it and wearing it. And you know what? I love the challenge of it. I love the challenge. I mean, I wouldn't like wish this on anybody, but like, I'm going to own it when we're doing it. So, yeah, I mean, like, don't feel sorry for me, and don't feel sorry for us. I mean, this is an awesome opportunity.
Your 2011 team at Gonzaga started 4-5.
Okay.
You had some.
Thanks for the good news. Yeah. I'm always learning from you guys.
Well, and at Gonzaga, though, you got the WCC. This time you got the Big 12 staring at you.
Yeah, listen, I'm not trying to draw any comparisons. I'm living in this reality right now, and it's where we're at. And guys, we've lost 3 one-possession games. Heartbreaking. Get better. Figure it out. and we're in that mode. And I believe in this group of guys we got, but I also know that we're going to have to fight for it because, yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, their psyche and the foundation has been rattled a little bit, you know, but you know, we can build it back.
Do you have any update on Mo?
No real update. No real update. No.
It looked like Emmanuel was dressed out. Is there a plan to pull the red shirt if needed?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think we're going to try to find a way to mix him in
Okay.
at some point for sure.
So he's the knee issue or whatever he was dealing
Yeah.
with that kept him out. He's
Yeah.
good to go. Okay.
Yep.
How long has he been past that and working out with you guys?
I mean, just since Mo went down. So
He
kind
will
of
get-
Mo handed the baton to him.
Okay. You definitely plan to not redshirt him then at some point?
I mean, that's where our mind's at right now. You know, I mean, that you'll know when he's up at the scores table. You'll know. That's when it's probably going to happen for me. But I don't have any kind of crazy grand plan. But listen, I'm also trying to be mindful. I know he's eager. I know he's got a lot of energy. You know, but like these last game and this game aren't necessarily like warm-up games for a freshman. I mean, you're playing against, you know, teams that there's pressure defense, there's substance to what they do. You know what I mean? It's not, so I also want to make sure when he starts off that he has maybe some good footing to get off to a good start.
What that implies you're thinking Mo's out for the long term, however long it might be, or?
I mean, yeah, listen, hey, I haven't heard anything more than J-Rock. I know he's not playing on Saturday or Wednesday, probably not Saturday. So, you know, I'm just gonna when J-Rock tells me officially what it looks like, we'll let everybody know.
Is it kind of a stress-related thing where, because it sounded like he had that busy summer, played for Lithuania, came here, worked out, he said, then he started feeling pain. And then you guys shut him down, and then he came back. And I'm wondering, you know, is it a cumulative thing that maybe you just need to wait and keep an eye on it?
Yeah, it could be. Well said.
Well, I mean, how would you, so, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm asking you, is it a stress reaction, so to speak?
I mean, listen, we're gonna let J-Rock deal with it. You know, I don't want to give the wrong term. You know what I mean? What it is, but obviously, you know, it's related to that, and you know, he's not playing. That's the thing. And we're going to do, you know, whatever's best for his long-term career. That's what we're going to do.
I mean, it's a hypothetical, but is it possible to use one of your available scholarships if there was a player like out there to add?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would have to look at that. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I know there wouldn't be
You got any
guys in the
ideas?
portal, but maybe somebody who never signed with anybody or something.
You got any ideas?
I'd have to do
You
it.
know,
via
Probably not likely. I mean, I don't know about the scenario, but probably not likely.
It does seem like the mid-year transfer thing hardly ever happens anymore, like it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think you used to transfer, but then you'd have to sit out, right? Because, like, I mean, I don't know what it would look like if somebody's in the transfer portal and why they're not somewhere. You know, I don't know. I mean, that's probably the biggest question we have to ask is why is this guy not playing somewhere right now? So we'd have to figure that out. So, all right, guys, appreciate you guys.
Well, Dudley, what did you think after the game? Did you kind of review a lot of that game and kind of what happened to the offense and where you guys are at? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we of course watch film and recap it. Every game's a learning experience. I know turnovers is a big thing that we kind of covered, and just like how those turnovers happened, because that's essentially how we lost on points of turnovers and stuff like that. But I mean, it's not things that we can't correct, not things that we can't watch film and get better at. So it's not a problem. It's just like you address it, you make adjustments in practice, and then you get ready for the next.
When you have, sorry.
Go ahead. Well, I was just following up on that. Do you feel like, we were just talking with Tommy was saying, some of this toughness, some of this maybe making it easier for each other, some of it simply holding on the ball a little bit tougher, whatever. What do you think? I mean, but other than what UCLA was doing, that maybe are the biggest things you guys need to get out of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an understanding of kind of what the other team's goal is. They were very, gap heavy, very like, as soon as someone drove, they were almost all 5 guys just going straight at the ball, which meant that, the gaps were open, the thrower heads were open, back cuts were open, because we got, 3 or 4 dunks off back cuts and stuff. I think it's just that recognition of understanding what they're doing and how we can take advantage of that. Sometimes we made great plays. It wasn't like every time we dribbled, we turned it over, but it's just that recognition of like, all right, this is what they're doing. Let's use that against them rather than let's try and force the issue through, 2, 3 people. But like I said, we've addressed it now. We've watched the film, we've seen it, and then we come to practice, and now it's like, let's play together. And, Tommy's on, us guards is big as well to like, play together and look for each other. So we're just building that connection every day to, have the confidence to throw ahead and expect the guy to be in the right spot.
You didn't face Samford when you were at Campbell, did you?
No.
Looking at the film, what makes them stand out from, 'cause Tommy said they were 1-1.
Yeah. They play a super unique style of basketball. Very high intensity, a lot of pressing. Pretty much all 5 guys pretty much go flat out to the ball. There's no real, I call it principle, in terms of like who's getting back, who's crashing, like discipline and stuff like that. They kind of want to speed the other team up. They want to play super aggressive and try and force the issue. So it's on us to be disciplined, us to take that control factor, take care of the ball, because when we do that, we're going to get what you'll see run out open dunks, open layups. And it'll be like, wow, how did that happen?
Do you think UCLA in any way prepared you for it? I know it's not the exact same style, but they did have that swarming mentality defensively.
Yeah, I mean, of course, their hunt for the ball is definitely going to translate through the rest of the season, not just Samford, but I mean, that's a lot of teams. A lot of teams play that gap style and, rakes in the rake zone and stuff like that. So it definitely helps, for this game and, a bunch of them coming up.
You played a style at Campbell where you guys did, you passed and cut a lot, and then obviously in the preseason you probably went through a lot of that here. Is there something, especially UCLA, but maybe some of the other games where you said this just isn't working like it should work? And
Our offense here?
Yeah. Is there a link missing somehow, more than anything other than what you said?
I don't think there's anything missing. I don't think it's like we don't have the right people or the right, style of offense or coach's plan isn't right. I don't think it's any of that. I think it's just it takes time to connect and get the trust going and have that gel on the offensive end. It's not about this guy's not good at this or this guy's not good at that. It's just knowing that, yeah, all right, we trust each other on the court. We're willing to make the pass. We're willing to get it back. We trust the offense enough that it's going to come back to us. It's those questions. It's not about like, oh, I don't like this guy. I don't want to throw it. It's just time. It just takes time and it takes reps. So that's why in practice, he's on us, like I said, us guards to really push the issue in terms of sharing the ball, because we essentially control the offense. Like the bigs are a big key, but the guards are the ones that have to control the game.
I think you've got the best three-point numbers so far for this year, but really haven't taken a lot of them. Is there a way that what you're doing can translate to other people as far as your effectiveness?
Definitely. I mean, a lot of guys doing great things, not just me, but we got to take advantage of what we have and our personnel and stuff like that. And I know Tommy's been big on getting more shots for certain guys and getting the right people taking the right shots at the right time. So I think that's something that really hurt us last game. But that's something that with time and with reps we can understand, and that comes down to basketball IQ more than anything. But efficiency is all different ways, not just shooting, not just percentages. It's when to pass, when not to pass, all that kind of stuff. So.
That's interesting. As a guy who does well off the catch and shoot particularly, does that put you on the end of this? And does that frustrate you sometimes where you maybe get open and you're ready and it's not getting to you for whatever reason? Or is there something else you can do to help?
I mean, that's basketball. You're not going to get it every time you're open. I mean, I would like to, of course. I'd love to get 25 catch and shoot threes, but it's not going to happen. It's a matter of seeing what the game's giving you and where to get to. Next game I might get a bunch of cuts and get 3 dunks. That's just how the game goes. So either way, whether you get the ball or not, you still got to do the right play. You still got to run. You still got to space the floor the right way. And then when time's right, the ball will come. You can't just give up because you're not getting it.
Are you feeling more comfortable in this after the first few games? Maybe it took a while for your feet to get wet?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as every game goes on, I'm getting more and more comfortable, more confident. That's trusting the guys, trusting myself, them trusting me. It's all about, I see basketball as a very respect, it's a respect kind of aspect to it. Once you kind of prove yourself and the team can see oh, wow, this guy can really do this or that, that's when teams come together. And we're all fine for it. It's not like anyone's, comfortable and solidified, but I'm definitely more comfortable myself, and I definitely trust myself more, trying to almost get back to that kind of Campbell Daly that everyone's kind of seen.
Yeah, right. At this point, too, you've seen a lot more high major opponents. I'm wondering, if you feel like you're a lot more confident against the speed or defense or whatever that you've been seeing.
Yeah. I mean, it all takes time. I mean, playing in front of this many, these big crowds and this many people and in the stands, all those things that people don't think about, it takes time. But it's not like I've ever, weird in terms of confidence or oh, I don't think I can do this or that. It just takes time. And now I'm the most confident I've ever been. And next week I'll be more confident. So I have no doubts in my mind.
What's the mood of the team right now? I mean, people on the outside may look, well, you're 4-5, and then you're going to Big 12. How many wins are they going to have? Are they going to be on the bubble? Whatever. What do you guys think? And is there belief that you're going to turn around? It's going to be a lot better than the way it is now, or kind of what's the mood?
I mean, the mood's always great. It's realistically, conference hasn't started. Nothing really matters up until this point. When we start in December, TCU's our first game. Then it's all right, our goals are still the same. They never change. We could be 0-11 right now, 0-9. We wouldn't care because we still have the goal of a Big 12 championship. We still have a goal to make the tournament. We still have a dream to make the national championship game and win it. It doesn't matter whether we win or lose. So the mood's the same. It's all business. It's nothing personal. There's no time, especially now. There's no time to be doubting and sitting in our feelings and getting all emotional. We just don't have the time for that. Now it's time to really put the foot down and actually get to the business.
I'm just curious. Okay.
Go ahead. No.
Well, I was just curious what your plans are. I doubt you're going back to Australia for Christmas. So, are you planning to hang out here, or what's?
Yeah. I'll be around here. Working out still. I'll be up in Phoenix a little bit too. Unfortunately, not enough time to go back home, but my family was just here, so it was great to see them and stuff like that. But I mean, all the other guys, everyone's going around different places, seeing family when you can. We only really get a couple days, so it's more just a quick hello and then straight back to practice. So.
What is the right amount of time to be able to have off to get back to Australia and enjoy it and come back?
I've always said the minimum amount of time for me to go back would be probably about 2 weeks. Okay. Because to fly back takes me about 2.5 days to get back because of the time change. So there's already half the week gone almost. So then 2 weeks, at least 1 week of actually enjoying it before I fly all the way back.
So how many times have you been back since Campbell? Once or twice?
I went back after my freshman year, then came back to my sophomore year, and this year I didn't go back. So I've been once in the last 2 years. But like I said, my family comes here a bunch, so I still see everyone, and they come to games and stuff. So.
Did they work in any kind of tourism while they were out here, or do anything fun? Or
so they came to the Duke game. They followed us to the Bahamas. So they ventured all the Bahamas and got to see all that and the hotel and all that kind of stuff. So they loved it. But
all right. Thanks,
thank you guys.